Well, hello, everybody. We started like a little bit late because we had some technical difficulties, but here we are. We are back. So welcome to Beautiful Broken. I'm your host, Brittany Mahan, along with my main girl, number one, Doreen Silva.
Hello.
So tonight's episode is really important to me because it's all about manifesting your reality, turning your dreams into the life that you live every single day. And the guest that we have tonight is super, super important to me because way back, like Doreen, like a year ago, I met him. He's like this random kid from England. We met at like a random bar. He just happened to be visiting for the weekend. He like didn't know anybody. He didn't even know if he was going to move here. And we just literally by chance met. He took the job, moved like I think like 6 months later or something like that. And then we've been friends ever since. But the cool thing about the story is we sat down back in January, I think 2019, and we would like every like week we would sit down and we would write goals.
I remember you telling me this.
Right?
Too.
And we both hit every single one of our
That's
goals
awesome.
that we wrote down. And like I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of you both. I'm proud of you both.
What was a goal that you've had in your life that you manifested without thinking that you could do it?
Well, definitely for me, massage school was a goal for me because at the time I was working at IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working full time at IKEA, and I had lowered my hours to work part time, and I had started doing school during the day, but I still had to drive Tristan, my son, tried to drive Tristan to school during the day, get back to work, then also still work nights at IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was like, and that was 9 months of school that I was like, am I going to get through this?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be able to do this? And even halfway through, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because there was a lot on my plate, like driving Tristan to school, having to get him at school, having to do all my homework.
Let's just call it you were a single mom in school working at IKEA to try to make the bills.
Yeah. And I was still working all the hours that even with part-time, I was still working as many extra hours as I could, trying to still make the money, going to school, but I kept telling myself this is going to be rewarding. This is going to be so rewarding once I finish school. And I always say, because it was 9 months long, because I was like, this is my baby right here. This is my baby.
And I think that's the thing that people don't like. I think doubt sneaks into a lot of people's minds, and
Definitely.
That's what prevents somebody from making it and making their dreams a reality, and someone that doesn't do anything with their life because one person chose to believe, like, you know what, even though it's scary, even though I'm doubting myself, I'm going to do this no matter what.
And a lot of people would, some people, not a lot, I wouldn't want to say a lot, but most people probably would quit because it's a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And I couldn't because I knew that the reward would be so much bigger that if I just like stuck it through, and it really was. So.
Right. You had a son and you were working at IKEA, and there's nothing wrong with working at IKEA if you work at IKEA. If that's
I loved working at IKEA. Like, I'm not kidding. And still, like, it's been 3 years since I worked at IKEA, and I'm like, man, I still sometimes miss working at IKEA because it was such a like conversation every day, tons of people, conversations, and I love having conversations. I miss that sometimes.
Which is why we have our own show. All right, so we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to talk to Dan, who moved to America from England on a soccer scholarship, and then graduated here, got a job being a toy salesman, and then he'll tell you the rest. We'll be right back after this.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
About manifesting your dreams into your reality, and we would love to welcome Daniel Bennett to the show. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
So if you're just tuning in, Dan is a toy salesman. So Dan, let's go back to like kind of let's go back to when you were in England and you wanted to move to America.
Yeah, so it's a weird one. Just kind of as a background about me, really, I kind of grew up in a single parent household, and my mum afforded me a privilege of going to a pretty decent school, but by no means were we the most affluent in that in my school, but ended up getting some good opportunities. And from there I used to see my friends' dads and their families have these really extravagant lifestyles, and I used to kind of aspire to have, like, well, I'm not there yet, but I really, really want to get that one day. I really want to have that. I really want to be able to go on these fancy holidays. I really want to be able to have these nice big houses, drive the nice cars, all that kind of stuff. And I think after about 17 I went to work in an office just as like the guy who made the tea for the guy who made the coffee, like right at the bottom. So, and being that assistant, the thing I used to see, like, clients come into the business and they're in the same situation. They were doing extremely well for themselves. They drive the nice cars. They were doing these multi-million-dollar deals at the time. And I'd look at that at 17 years old and go, damn, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. I don't want to be the guy who's getting the tea for the guy making the coffee. I want to be the guy making the deals. I want to be the guy who's on these first-class flights, traveling around the world, doing these big deals, and providing for your family, to be able to wake up every single day doing whatever the hell you want. That's what I wanted for my life. So the next stage for me was kind of like, right, well, I played soccer all my life, and my uncle had, got a soccer scholarship out to a university when probably about 20 years ago, and he said to me, he was like, Dan, it's an amazing opportunity for you, get out to the US, play soccer, get your degree paid for. And at the age of 15, 16, I was like, cha-ching, that sounds amazing, get to travel around America, go live the American dream for 4 or 5 years, play soccer every single day. It sounded amazing. And it was really about 17, 18 where a lot of my other friends at the time were going down different paths. Like, some were just going straight into trade, some were just dropping out of school altogether, and others, were just going to university. And I was always saying, no, I want to go to America. I want to go to America and get a soccer scholarship. And a lot of my friends at the time were like, it's just not going to happen. Like, how are you going to get a university to pay you to go and play soccer and get a degree? That it just didn't seem possible. And I don't know, I just believed. I was just like, no, I can do it. I was an okay soccer player. I was like, no, I can believe. And I ended up joining this agency called Pass for Soccer when I was about 17, 18. And fast forward, I think about 18 months, I was very fortunate. I had all these soccer scholarships coming my way. And it was at that point when I was like, right, I'm actually going to go to America, So 18, 19, ended up flying out to America. I ended up choosing a school down south called the University of North Georgia. We were just north of Atlanta. And from there, just had the best 4.5 years of my life. Made my best friends, played soccer every single day. I was in the best shape of my life, and just had an amazing time of it. And during that, I kind of got to live the life of a professional athlete. I'd kind of come from a decent level back in the UK, but then I was playing soccer every single day in the US, and it was just amazing. And from there, I ended up graduating, getting my degree paid for, which was amazing opportunity. And from there, I was like, right, what's the next step? I had that kind of split down the path where I was like, right, do I really kind of pursue trying to play professional soccer, or do I go and try and make some money, try and get into the business world, try and make something of myself? And kind of that had come from seeing these people when I was 17, growing up in the high school, seeing my parents, my friends' parents have these amazing lifestyles. And I was like, right, let's go and do that. Let's go and try and make something for yourself. And ended up having a job opportunity come up here in Boston, and I moved up here. Britt was literally the only person that I met.
The first friend.
Literally.
The Boston first friend.
and it was funny because the summer prior, I'd just finished the internship up here, and me and my bosses, we went to play golf, and I had no idea how to play golf. I was more interested in chatting the girls up at the bar and getting a beer, to be honest. That's literally what I was having more fun doing. And me and Britt ended up meeting each other, and over that kind of 6-month period from the summer to when I actually came up here, we kind of stayed in contact just as friends, really. It was just completely platonic. And when I moved up here, Britt was literally the only person I knew. And when you move to a new city and you don't know anyone, it's an amazing time to get your head down and get some work in, because you have no distractions. Like, I didn't really have anything else to do. It was kind of like I had Britt as an accountability buddy. Like, every weekend we'd be going to Cafe Nero in Southie. We'd sit down, like, right, what's on the goal list? What we doing? And over the course of those 12 months in 2019, we kind of smashed everything off our list. And
that's awesome.
We really did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty cool. So,
what was like, when you had to choose between following your dream of being a professional soccer player versus going into the business world, how difficult was that choice.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really, really tough. And I think I had to, sometimes I just sit down myself and go, right, really, which is going to give me the most beneficial future, really? Like, maybe if I'd have found the right team, I could have gone and played like a lower level somewhere. But I was always worried about waking up in my late 20s or my early 30s and going, right, well, that's done now. And then kind of feel like I'd like...
You had to make up for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had to make up to exactly that. And I was terrified of that. Absolutely terrified. I didn't want to wake up one day with a kind of... be one of those 40-year-old soccer guys who never really made it and have a bit of a bad hangover from it and be like, right, now let's start the business.
And then, like, your body being all sore.
Yeah, exactly. So, really, it was just kind of one of them where I was like, right, let's try and really make something for myself. And so I came up here, and it's funny when you say toy salesman, because that's literally what I do. I sell toys. We sell to like big box retailers in the US, so all the big guys, which is, it's really random, but it's kind of fun. It's quite entrepreneurial, and I really do enjoy it. So
Who do you
not
like?
like a Toys R Us thing. It's like a...
No, he sells to like Five Below.
Yeah.
Like his company picks toys to then put in Five Below.
So it's interesting, because like, I'd gone from that 17-year-old kid who was looking at, this is going to sound really cheesy and narcissistic, but I'd gone from that 17-year-old kid who wanted to like be a part of the deals and do all the deals and stuff, and I 24, I went to being in the meeting room doing pretty decent size, like, you know, multiple millions dollar deals over toys. I know it's a bit random, but ended up doing that.
Yeah, but all kids love toys,
Right?
Exactly.
And he's like a big kid.
Like toys aren't
Literally.
gonna go anywhere. So.
Exactly, it's kind of recession proof in a way. You just
I'll never forget. He like literally went to China for like a month, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he went to China for a month, and the whole time he's over there, he's like, Brett, the battles that they get into over a penny is like concerning.
No, it's insane. You'll be in these boardrooms for hours on end arguing over literally a penny. But when you think about it, a penny over 1 million pieces is a lot of money. And especially when you compound that over 10, 20 different lines, that can literally accumulate to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
That's true.
it was really interesting. It was a great experience over the last 18 months now. Well, probably about 20 months now, yeah.
Yeah,
So we've
because
been doing it for almost 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's just coming to my end of my second year now, yeah.
so I kind of want you to explain to everybody, because just for you out there, you're ending this job in like a month, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so where was the mental shift in the 2 years journey that you kind of were like, you know what, this was a great experience, but not for me?
It's really funny, you know. I think when you grow up, you think, all right, the grass is always greener on the other side. There's always that grass is always greener on the other side mentality. And I think when I was younger, I'd look at the people who'd come into the office and they're driving the nice cars and they're wearing the fancy watches and they're doing these deals. And I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing. That's really, really what I want to do. And it kind of kicked in really January, February of this year, when I was so stressed all the time. It was having a really negative effect on my health, on my relationships, everything. I was just miserable all the time. I was waking up at dawn, I was on emails from 5 a.m. all the way up till 11 o'clock at night. I'm still on emails. I'm answering the Far East. And for me, it was kind of just like, right, well, I'm in my mid-20s. I'm like, is this really what I want? Because I was aging like an avocado. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't look good.
Yeah, I know how those ever go. Like one
go
day
fast.
they're good, the next day they're...
I was not aging well, and I kind of looked at myself probably at the start. I think it was about February of this year, and I was like, is this really what's? And I think, you know, when you into your career, you kind of just accept it. You're like, right, this is life now. You wake up, you do.
And also tell them the benefits, though, that your company gave you.
Yeah.
Because that was like, that sucked you right in.
Oh, exactly. And that was another thing. It was kind of like the opportunities that this company provided me, and they still do provide me. They've done amazing by me, to be fair. But, you know, company car, they've sponsored me on my visa, which for a UK citizen, you know, coming over, it's gold dust. It doesn't happen. So they sponsored me. They gave me a company car. I had an amazing bonus check at the end of last year. Get monthly commissions. Like, life's good. Like, and I don't want to sound...
And he was 24, dude.
Yeah.
Like 24 years old, coming from New England, got what was it? A visa that was like a lifetime times 10 or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that was it's an E2 visa, so it's renewable every 5 years for 25 years. So it's essentially a 25-year visa to the US, which, like I said, it's gold dust. It just
He's 25, so that means by 50 he would get kicked out.
They helped you get that?
yeah, it's everything. So
Oh, wow.
and you know, it's a weird one where they really did do amazing by me, but for me it was kind of like, I have all these amazing things. I had a lovely apartment in an assembly row. I had, you know, drove a nice car. I have, the watches, and my money's decent. And for me, I was waking up every single day, and I was a bit like, it's not really that fulfilling. Like it was kind of sad. And it was a little bit soul sucking for a while, because work was going great. All the numbers were going in the right direction. The company's growing massively, and I get to travel all around the world. I was in the Far East. I've been in the UK. I've been pretty much everywhere, and I don't want to sound narcissistic and ungrateful, but it was just really, you have to sometimes look yourself in the mirror and go,
are you happy?
Exactly.
Am I happy?
Yeah,
exactly.
There it is.
Exactly.
That's the question.
Exactly, and that's the kind of $1 million question. And for me, me and my girlfriend would talk about it and would say, she's just like, it's just sucking your soul out of you.
And it's like, you have all those things and you can have all those benefits and you can have everything, but if you're not happy, it's not worth it.
No, 100%.
It's not worth it.
100%. And I think that's kind of what happened to me. So I think it was about March of this year where I had the conversation with my employers, and I was just like, boys, I'm so sorry, but I think I'm going to I think I gave them 4 or 5 extra months. I said, look, I'll stay pretty much for the half of the year. I'll get all my numbers in, because I didn't want to screw anyone. I was like, look, if I was just to leave now, it'd be right in the middle of their busiest period. And
I know that feeling.
So yeah, I didn't want to leave on bad terms. I didn't want to be the guy who's just kind of ran away from it. I didn't want to do that. So I stayed an extra probably 6 months actually, until August 31st. I've got all my full numbers in. I've trained a bunch of the new salespeople who have come in, and from August 31st, I'm gonna be moving away.
Free man.
That's awesome.
No, I think my hairline.
Do you already have a thing lined up?
Not really. No, I'm gonna take a little bit of time for myself. I'm gonna go see some
Good.
friends. I'm gonna go see some friends down south I've not seen in a long time. Yeah.
He was gonna travel. He was like, he had all this plan to go all over the world.
Well, I
and
mean,
then
like,
Corona came in and was like, not today, Dan.
Yeah, that Rona season really screwed me. I'm not gonna lie.
But the reason why you've impressed me so much since the moment I've met you is when we first met, we both were money hungry. Like that's all we cared about.
Even
was
him
making
telling
money.
his story, I
felt me
in my head because of the getting people their coffee and
literally
seeing the life that you wanted.
we are so similar. It's
Yeah.
disgusting because I remember when I was an intern for Nessun, I was the coffee person, but I killed that. I was I'm a CEO.
Everybody's like, I'm gonna make friends with all of you.
Literally, I was like, I'm gonna remember your coffee and bring it to you next time. And that's just the game. The game is always see yourself for where you want to be, not where you are, and then make friends with the people along the way, so when you do want to get advice or something like that,
Exactly.
people are there to help you, and you were genuinely nice to them along the way, so they actually like you. They're willing.
Sometimes they wouldn't even be willing to give
No.
you that advice.
No, if you show you're genuinely interested in, and this is any job, any topic, any career that you may want. If you find somebody who is doing what you want to do in life, and you genuinely ask them for help, and you're genuinely nice and interested in what they do in their life, they'll be happy to share it with you. But it's the snobby, egotistical, I'm better than you kind of thing. But to go back to the money, me and him were so money hungry. I worked 3 jobs. I was going crazy.
I didn't know how you did it, literally, because I was tired doing essentially a 9 to 5, but you were bouncing your day job, then you're working nights at the Grand, and then you're doing all these things. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
she's killing it.
Because you think the money is what you want,
Right.
And then
I also thought it was the lifestyle
Yeah.
though, because I was working in the sport industry during the day, and then I was working for the clubs at night. So I thought I
You
was
were in
I was
that
I'm in it.
limelight.
I was y'all are waiting by the door, but I know the bosses.
Well, I remember going with you,
Yeah.
Brittany. I'd be like, I gotta go out with Brittany because Brittany gets us right in the door.
Yeah, me and a few of my friends flew up from Charlotte, and anyway, they ended up going home, and Britt was like, Dan, I got you. And we ended up going backstage, we were behind the DJ deck. Literally, Britt was the networker of us, and she
I mean, it
took
definitely
us
had
everywhere.
its plus sides, not just for Brittany.
Yeah, no, I definitely like to be if I'm gonna be in, I'm in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I think you could still even.
Definitely. I mean, we
I mean, those aren't a thing right now, but
No, I know, but I still stay connected to those people. But I genuinely made those relationships on purpose because I always saw a bigger picture in my life. I was never just gonna stop at the door. You know what I mean? You got to get in, and then you
100%.
got to make a family.
Well,
but
I think that's where friendliness is a big thing. And
Yeah.
people can tell if you're genuine and if you're not genuine. Because I mean, even when I went with you, everybody knew you.
Oh, exactly. You're the bubbliest person ever. Everyone loves you. And I think for you, especially, you were in the sport industry in the day, then at night you were working, in the club. For networking, that was an amazing opportunity. You were meeting everyone, and you knew everyone. And I think for what you were doing was perfect.
So where did you guys meet?
So
Granite Links.
yeah,
Oh, okay. When you said golfing in
Yeah.
Quincy, I thought I know
Yeah.
Granite Links. So I was like, oh, is that where they met? Okay.
Yeah, I was literally about to go on a date, and he walks up and orders a drink, and my bartender was like, "Oh my god, did you hear his accent?"
it works. It works.
It does.
And then that was it. That's the story. But
Okay.
So, yeah.
no, but the reason why I wanted to say I was I'm so proud of who you are is because there's not a lot of men in today's society that put their happiness first. They let the money, they let the struggle of like not being a good enough provider. And yes, you have a girlfriend, but like you don't have like a kid to provide for, you know what I mean? So you're not like trapped in this bubble of like, what do I want to do with my life right now? You're kind of free to experience.
And I think as well, with that being said as well, is that this is the perfect time. If it was 10 years down the line, if I'd stayed and I actually if I had more money and I was sitting with a bigger bank account, but I was still even more miserable, like, and then you do have a kid, then you are married, then you've got a mortgage, then you've got all those things. That is way more difficult. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's way more difficult at that point to be like, right, well, now I'm going to go and find myself and go do a bit of soul shows. You know what I mean? It's just,
You're like, sorry, honey.
Yeah, exactly. It's just never going to happen. So I think, you know, I took a step back from everything. I was like, right, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And I can see myself waking up in 10 years' time and have an even worse hairline, and my bags will be down here, and so it won't be good.
I gotta ask, like, where's your mom?
So my mum's in the UK. My mum's in Birmingham right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So do you guys still like?
Yeah. So like, I'm super close with my family. We probably FaceTime probably 2 or 3 times a week. I'm a bit of a mom. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit of a mommy's boy.
He's a mama boy.
My son's a mama's boy. So I get it.
Yeah, so I'm super close to my family, and as soon as all the COVID finished and it's over with and restrictions are loose, I'm going home to see them and spend some time at Christmas.
How was that? How was going through? Oh, hey, Jocelyn, you know we love you, girl. How was moving away from your because like, okay, guys, just to kind of paint the picture of how close he is to his family, I saw the most adorable video on his Facebook about him surprising his, like, how old's your grandmother?
She's in her late 70s, I think.
Like, 7-year-old grandma. Yeah. Like, she literally was like, he was like, guess who came home to see you? And he's like, oh, what's up, Ma?
Yeah, so we planned it. It was her, I think it was a few years ago. It was her 75th, I think. I can't remember, but it was all the family were planning on going to one of our local favourite restaurants, and then my mum didn't tell anyone, so me and my mum planned it. We flew home, and then I snuck up on my grandma. I was like, oh, hey, stranger, how you doing? And she burst out.
She literally was the sweetest video. Awesome. But how do you handle that? How do you, like, to talk to our fans, tell them how, like, they could handle, like, because a lot of people do have codependency with their family, and you are really close with your family. So how did you separate the two?
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. There's always those days where you're like, I'd love to be anywhere but here right now. I'd love to be at home. I'd love to be in the kitchen with your family. But sometimes you just got to, you know, it's like a bird leaving a nest, isn't it? Sometimes you got to take that jump. And I think when I decided to leave the UK, I think I was 18 or 19 at the time. I was just like, look, if I don't do this, I don't want to be that guy who wakes up at 45 and be like, I really should have gone to America when I was 19 when I had nothing on it. But instead I chose to stay at home and just, you know, hang out for a few days. I didn't want to ever be that person. So it's tough leaving your family, but I think as long as you've got a great relationship with them, and as long as they understand you, and, you know, you both have that kind of relationship where, you know,
you're still close.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was never personal. It was just that my mum had travelled the world as well. Like, when my mum was out my age, she was off travelling and doing a bunch of stuff. Like, she's been to more countries than I have. So I think she was pushing it more than I was. She was like, Dan, you gotta go. She's like, get out of the house.
That's awesome.
I love that.
At least she wasn't trying to, like, you know, because Bernie talked about, like, codependent. Like, at least she wasn't trying to be like, stay here, you have to stay.
Some moms do that.
Yeah, my grandma on the other hand, she definitely wanted me to stay. She definitely wanted me to stay.
So I want you to, because like the way we connected was like law of attraction, like Think and Grow Rich. Like, me and him, we were like sitting there dissecting brains. Like, okay, how are we gonna manifest what we want? So why don't you, before we get our first caller, why don't you go in real quick on, like, what do you study the most?
Definitely manifestation, law of attraction. I'm currently reading a book called Just Effing Do It, and it's all about spirituality and law of attraction. Just basically just doing it as well. There's another really good one called U Squared. It's a small book. You'll bang it out in a night. It's literally a 30-minute read, but it's amazing. It's all just about manifestation and just about how you can basically predict your life if you work hard and you know what you want and you keep going for it and going for it and going for it, and eventually you'll bang down that door and make it happen.
What was the biggest mental blockage you had that you overcame this year?
Eventually having the conversation with my employers and just saying, boys, this isn't working and I've got to go. That was tough. That was really, really tough.
I've been there.
Because it's a family as well.
Yeah.
You know? And I think definitely from their side, we had a really, really tight knit. And I think when you have that conversation, say, look, I'm going to be leaving, you can never mend that relationship. Relationship's never going to be the same that it was. But as long as you are true to yourself and saying, look, this is going to make me a better person. I'm going to do the things that I want to do. And you have to be a bit selfish about it. You have to say, right, I want to go and do
Definitely,
the things. Exactly.
definitely.
You just have to say, look, this is the things I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And that was, I'm not proud about much that I've done, but that was one of the things where I was like, all right.
Did you give 2 weeks?
I gave 6 months.
Oh my God.
6 months. I gave my 2 weeks at IKEA, and that was like, oh my. But I've had the same thing,
Yeah,
like,
it's
because it was like their busy season.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave, and I know I was like one of the best workers.
Oh,
so like when
definitely.
you know you're one of the best workers, you're like, oh shit. Excuse me. Am I gonna
It's
leave?
French, guys. It's French.
Am I gonna leave them with like
Exactly.
in a hard time?
Exactly.
So I waited until the busy season was over.
I'm proud of both of you. I was a walkouter.
you pieced out. It's like, guys, I'm out.
I just couldn't do it, and it gave me such bad anxiety, even thinking about leaving. And
sure.
then I remember, but I wanted to do massage. So I was like, this is what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. So when you know and you have the goal for what you really want, it's easier to let go.
Exactly, and you'll never get to where you want to go if you don't leave where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of
You're never
course.
going to get to where you want to be if you're always just
Because you can't go backwards, you gotta go forward.
Exactly, and especially for me, like, being comfortable is not a good thing. I feel like if you wake up, although being comfortable is the goal, eventually you want to be happy and comfortable where you're at, but if you're comfortable in your situation where you're like, I'm not living to my full potential, then you need to get out of it.
Yes.
Right.
And nothing, I know you both probably know that quote, but like nothing great ever happens inside your comfort zone.
Exactly.
So you gotta leave your comfort zone.
Yeah, but I was too much at it. I never knew what comfort even felt like. So now I'm starting to learn what it feels like. I always, like, whenever, like, I don't know, I never knew what comfort was. I'm starting to find it, though, which is
I
cool.
mean,
Yeah, a ship's
comfort
safe
can be
inside.
nice, but at the same time, it's like
No, Doreen, you spent way too long in your comfort zone. We're
no,
trying to get
it's like because comfort can be nice. But it's like that you got to push for, like you said,
for sure.
to get your best potential.
There's a great quote which is from a ship's safest in harbour, but that's not what ships are for. And that's a good one, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's a
Write
good
that
one.
down, folks. I think we do have a caller that we're going to take in. Hello.
Hey, Brittany.
Oh, hi, Brian Carter. How are you doing tonight?
Great. How you guys doing?
Good. I'm going to give you right over to Dan so you can ask your question.
how you doing, mate?
Hey, Dan. How's it going?
Doing well, thank you, mate.
Great. So I have a question for you. Do you feel like you had an advantage or disadvantage moving here from another country in regards to achieving the goals you had set for yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a really great question. I'll be completely honest, right? No matter what room I tend to go in, there's always that first conversation where people say, "Oh, where are you from?" So automatically you're considered like, it's a conversation starter. So wherever I go, everyone's like, "Oh, where are you from?" I've been to London. So there's always that advantage that you've got a conversation starter to go straight in with. However, I know a lot of people who have come over with the same opportunities as me and have just ended up going back home after the 3 or 4 years they've done, just because it's not really for them. So I think it's also what you put into it. I think if you set your mind to it and go, right, that's what I want to do, then it's a bit of both. But it definitely has its advantages just with conversation started and networking, and it's just an easy way to meet people, I guess, and have a conversation.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.
I hope I answered that well.
No, that was good. That was good. I think a lot of people sleep on networking.
God, yeah.
A lot of people sleep on networking. And I don't even like to call it networking. I just call it making friends.
Yeah, just making conversations with people. And you never know. Some of my closest friends have met people that just in a coffee shop that you're sitting there and you just get chatting to someone, and next thing you know that they like, I know this one guy in the UK who met a guy in a coffee shop. Next thing you know, a couple of years later, they're in a business together and they're doing something just because you just start talking to people.
Right. And that's the thing that, like, a lot of people don't realize is that, like, it's your own anxiety that's preventing you. It's your own anxiety and the judgment you put on others that prevents you from talking to strangers.
But it's not even just like the judgment you put on others, it's the judgment you put on yourself.
That's true as well. There's always that conversation where you're like, right, should I speak to this person? Should I not speak to this person?
See, no, I never had that. I don't know what that is.
I mean, but it's like, I have blue hair, so I'm always
That's a conversation starter.
But it is definitely a conversation starter. But sometimes it's like, is the person judging me? What do they think about me? But
why can't you focus on them? Find something you like about them and then compliment it. That's how I do it every time. I genuinely focus on them. I see something that I like, and I'm like, oh, that purse is beautiful. And then it was like they wanted you to say something.
I definitely do that, and like that's what I mean when I say I miss working at IKEA, because it was I had so many opportunities all day long to compliment people, and that was like my favorite thing to do. Like every customer would be like, "I love your eyes. I love your purse. I love your shirt. I love this." So I'd be like, "My cup is so full," because I've been complimenting people all day, and I miss that. But I mean, I still do it, but I just don't have as many opportunities.
Right. No, and I like that you just said your cup was full. Obviously, your cup was draining you at your job.
Yeah, and I think there's always a point where you have to kind of look yourself in the mirror and go, right, is this really what I want to do? And for me, it hit that point where that cup was getting so low, and there was only so many consecutive days where I was a bit like, this is draining the life out of me a little bit, and it didn't have the same excitement and fun that it originally had, and I kind of think, if you're not having fun, then what's the point?
Right.
I feel that. Like, even, I mean, massage was my goal.
Yeah.
And I say that COVID was a blessing in disguise, even though I know for not a lot of people it was a blessing, and a lot of people there were people that got sick, so I hate saying it was a blessing, but for me it was, because massage, I had been doing it for 2 years, but I think you can always set new goals.
For sure.
And during periods of doing massage, I would feel unhappy, and I like, this isn't fulfilling me like it did when I first started, and I wanted to find other things, and that's where like the self work and everything you do for yourself is the main goal.
Well, that's the coolest thing about life, really, is I don't think you're ever in a situation where you can't stop, turn around and go, right, well, what, and assess where you want to do. You can always change your direction no matter what you want to do. And if you got to the point with massage where you're like, right, well, can I go and do something else to have more fun?
Well, I wasn't able to work for like all this time, so I'm like, what am I going to do? What can I do? What else do I like? And so I'm like, Brittany brought me on this, and I'm like, well,
you're natural.
I get to talk. I love to talk, and so it's kind of just been something to motivate me to think of new goals.
That's awesome. And even from a networking, like, some of the people you've had on here are really cool. Like, you've had some really, really cool people. Just meeting new people is really cool.
Oh, so. I love it. I love that. That's like my favorite thing. Like,
people are awesome. People are sleeping on people. The whole like, I hate people movement, I'm not about it. I think we got another caller that I want to bring in. Sam, are you with us?
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Good, Sam. So Sam is one of your friends that I met a couple weeks ago. Great guy who just moved here. He's actually from the UK also. Sam, I'm going to pass you over to Dan.
All right, mate.
Hi, Dan. How's it going?
Mate.
Yeah, really, really enjoying listening to the show. But, you touched on being unhappy, but you didn't really go into it very deeply. I was just wondering, from the outside looking in, it sounds like you had a perfect setup, but what was it that was making you so unhappy?
It's a great question, mate. It's a great question. And I think, like, social media, for example, is a highlight reel. Like, if, like, no one ever posts on social media, like, everything you see on social media is always the best things, the best parts. And I think that's kind of what happened with my life, where, like, I was going after these things that weren't necessarily making me happy. I was going for a big paycheck, and I was going for the car, and I was going for these things. And then it kind of got to the point where I was like, this really stuff is, after a while, it just wore off, and I was a bit like, it's not really making me happy, to be honest. So for me, it was just the constant mundane of just the rinse and repeat of right, wake up, answer emails at 6 a.m. in the morning, right, I'm already stressed before 7 a.m, right, I get to work, I've got to put out a bunch of fires, then at 7 o'clock at night, right, that's when China's coming online, so then I'm doing more emails at 7 o'clock online. So for me, it was the kind of non-stop repetitiveness, and it was just, for me, it was just a build-up of just stress and anxiety all the time. And it was just kind of got to the point where I was looking at myself in the mirror and going, right, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't the kind of, like, you shouldn't be having like an anxiety attack on a Sunday. Like, you know what I mean? That shouldn't happen. So
right.
For me, it just got to the point where I was like, right, I just need to kind of assess my situation and see what else I can do, I think.
Do you think it was like the job responsibilities that you had, or do you think that if it was a different 9 till 5, it could be different?
It's a good question. A good thing. I think the responsibilities that I had at the time, and what I still do have, are pretty intense. They're definitely intense. But maybe if there's a different 9 to 5. But I just think as well, if you're not passionate for it, after a while, like if you lose that passion about what you're doing, then what's the point? You need to wake up excited about what you're going to go and do. And that's why I respect Brittany so much. Is like, she wakes up every single day like, right, buzzing, I'm going to go do Beautiful Broken today. That's really cool. Like, I want my own Beautiful Broken where I'm like super, like, I'm being serious. Like, you wake up every single day like super passionate about what you're doing, and I want that. And I feel like for what I was doing, although it was really cool and I got to travel and do all these cool things, if you're not ultimately passionate about what you're doing and you're not interested in what you're doing, then I don't think you're going to be the most successful in it, and that's kind of what you want to be. You want to be the best in your field, but that's only going to happen if you're passionate and excited about what you're doing.
I totally agree.
That was beautiful.
Totally agree.
Round of applause for Dan. Round of applause. Sam, do you have any more questions?
No, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in,
you.
Sam.
Cheers, mate. See you in a bit, mate.
Bye.
Oh, that was awesome, Dan. And I think now, how if I'm somebody who doesn't even know where to start with this passion feeling, how can you explain to me?
Honestly, it's something I've dealt with myself. It's just that I look around and go, right, well, that's interesting. Can I get into that? And I think sometimes you need to take a step back and kind of go, right, well, what do I like to do? What on a daily basis, what really gets me my enjoyment? And I'm still finding that out myself now. Like, is it going to see properties? Is it going to go and being a PT if you're into health and fitness? Is it going to be a nutritionist? Is it going to be a masseuse, for example? Like, you need to find your thing that you genuinely get a kick out, and that something on a bad day is still going to be interesting for you. Because I think on a good day, it's really easy to like something. But on a bad day, when it's raining and you're in a bit of a bad mood, if you're still miserable then when you're doing it, then that's probably when it gets really bad.
Well, yeah, like, I don't want to do this. Like, you want to find something that you're going to wake up and be like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to do it.
And for me, where I'm at the moment, like, my good days are pretty good. I quite enjoy it. But on my bad days, I'm like, this is just... And then your good days get less and less. Like, I got to the point when I was getting my first POs coming in and orders were coming in and the numbers were piling up. I was like really excited, really, really excited. And that's kind of worn off now, where it's a bit like, right, well, that's another one, that's another one, that's another one. But then your bad days get worse and worse, and that kind of compounds and compounds and compounds. And then when you're stressed about something, that gets worse and worse. So
Oh, I totally get that.
I just think the number one thing that people don't think about is, like, you sell toys, right? And your toy's never gonna come alive and give you a hug and be like, thank you for giving me a kid. Like, but like, you just do that.
Good toy.
But it is a good toy.
There you go. No idea.
But like with Beautiful Broken, why I'm passionate about it is simply because of the people and the interactions afterwards.
That's
Like
awesome.
after every single show, I take my guest on the show and we go get drinks after. And like
That's awesome.
the way you feel, the comments that like Jocelyn just said. I don't know if you saw it, Mike. Can you pull up Jocelyn's comment, because it was honestly awesome. She basically said, I firmly believe you can start over at any age. However, I believe even more
That a life of stagnation.
yeah, comfort
100%.
zone and settling is worse. Live your best life.
Yes.
And I think that's where a lot of people, I think, Doreen, you nailed it on the head when you said that Corona was a blessing. I know a lot of people had to go through grief and depression and anxiety and loneliness, and I'm sorry for all of you out there. I definitely was one of those people who hit that dark place. So I'm standing with you on that. But at the end of the day, you always have an option, and it's either to look at your life as look at that bad moment as a blessing, or sit in that bad moment and have it define you.
Yeah, and question, like, you know, all that time you have, because we don't have that time.
Oh, my
like,
gosh.
you know, I mean, for me at least, it was, you know, I had to work every day, so to have the time being home, I got to question to myself, what do I really want to do? What's going to make me happy? And I think you can do that many times in life. No matter how many goals you set, it's like good to set
For sure.
more goals.
And I think there was, obviously COVID was horrible, like Brittany just said, it was mortifying, but for me it kind of opened my eyes a bit. When you are in quarantine and all you do is wake up at whatever time you wake up and you get your laptop out and then you don't leave that laptop for 13 hours straight, you realise how much of your life is actually spent working. And then I think that was the biggest realisation for me. I was a bit like, I spend a lot of my time working and I'm spending a lot of my time stressed. And I wasn't that interested by it. It was the same problems, the same things that I was trying to figure out all the time, the same issues that I was always trying to fix. And after about a month of it, I was just a bit like, is this really what I'm going to be doing?
Right.
There's a quote saying something like, you're a long time dead, so you might as well make the most of it.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's where it's like perspective is so interesting, because yours was working on the laptop. Mine was, I had way too much time doing nothing.
Really?
So it was, you know, I binge watched way too many things on Netflix. I totally killed my workout routine where I wasn't working out because I was like, what do I have to really work out? I'm home all the time now. What do I have to work out? But to get past that phase and get back into, all right, I'm not going to let something stop me from still doing things that I enjoy.
that was another thing that compounded as well, is that when you are in quarantine and you're working all the time, then you're eating all the time because you're around food all the time, and then the gyms aren't open, so you're like, right, we're going to do a little HIIT workout, and then you do a 5-minute HIIT workout, which
Like, that's enough.
yeah, exactly. I do 4 push-ups and I'm like, right, that's me done for the day. Right, and then I go eat a pizza. Then it kind of, everything just compounded. I think it's when you're
Discipline.
Yeah, exactly,
You really need
yeah.
a lot of discipline.
Exactly.
And I struggle with it's weird. When it comes to like this stuff, I'm good. But when it comes to like working out, like I worked out today with my cousin Jeanette, and it was a struggle. She's like, one more, Brittany. I was like, no.
But that's like, I mean, for me, because like I have anxiety, so when I work out, if I finish a video and whatever's left at the end of the video, I'm gonna do extra of that just to like push my brain past that. Like,
That's
okay,
good.
you think that's enough, but no, just keep going.
That's good.
So what is your what's your next step? Like what are you looking for? What do you want to find?
It's a really, really good question. And to be honest, so I'm going to spend, so from August 31st, my last day working, I'm going to Colorado with my girlfriend, which would be amazing. We're going to go whitewater.
Where are you going?
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
The accent, I was
sorry.
like.
I said it really quickly. But I'm going to Colorado. We're going to do whitewater rafting. We're going to go do some amazing hike. I don't even think I'm going to take my phone with me. I think that's just I think that's staying in the hotel. But I think take some time, go see my friends. I've not seen any of I've got really close friends here, but I've not seen any of my college buddies. I haven't seen any of
I'm your first friend here, and I promise you're closer with your college buddies.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen any of my boys, so I'm going to go fly, and I'm going to do a bit of a trip down the East Coast, going and seeing all of them. I'm going to kind of do little stop-offs down there, and then I think maybe probably end of October, November, I'm going to head home, see all my family. This is the longest I've not been home for. I'm not going to have been home for 11 months, which is...
Wow. Is that going to be the longest you haven't worked, too?
Like when you travel.
Break,
oh
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so my OCD and my anxiety is going to. I need to email someone. I need to be doing something. That's definitely going to happen. But I think it's going to be good for me.
It is. It definitely will be.
What is we have a couple minutes left. So what do you got to say to the viewers out there for anybody who is struggling in a job that they absolutely hate and it's soul sucking them? What's the advice you would give to them today?
That's a great question. Honestly, the only advice I'd give is that you've just got to take a really long, hard look in the mirror and go, right, is this where I want to be? Is this where I want to be this time next year? And at the end of the day, nothing changes unless something changes. So if you aren't going to leave that job and you're going to still have the same workout routine and you're going to still eat the same food and you're going to be in the same negative relationship, then ultimately don't be surprised when you wake up there next year and you're still in the same spot. And for me, I got to the point where I was a bit like, right, nothing's going to change here. Like, I'm still going to be stressed this time next year. I'm going to probably put on more weight. The hairline's going to have gone further back in the hair. Like, so, just nothing changes unless something changes. And you've got to take a look in the mirror and just say, right, I got to design a life that you want. So,
that was so awesome.
Yeah, bit cheese, but...
No, I love the cheesiness. All right, everyone, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll close it up right after this.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's good? What's up? What's happening today?
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah.
The boys, check it out.
Stand up, do my terrorists, go compare us. Go.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so much for watching tonight's episode. I just think that not a lot of people, especially our age, talk about how they turn their dreams into reality.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, I think like thoughts create your reality.
That's all I live
It's all about what you're thinking and what you're telling yourself, and the negative thoughts you're thinking, turning them into positive.
That's the game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you all right now, if you feel negative thoughts about something, your job in that moment is to then try to focus on the positive and turn those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. If you can do that, you're going to win the game of life.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people are just pessimists out there, dream killing,
But a lot of
animals.
A lot of people don't even realize, though, like, it has to do with your thoughts.
I know.
It really does. And
I mean, like, what do you think? I thought of Beautiful Broken.
no,
I pitched
you
it.
totally manifested.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
your
even
thoughts.
like me and Dan didn't get into it, but one of the things that we both wanted to do, like more than anything, was like randomly we were like, we want to start a podcast, and I was like, I would love to do that. And then here we are, Beautiful Broken, and then like he's kind of getting more inspired to like start his own thing.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it's funny because it only takes you believing in you, and that's the game. And most people are too insecure, or they're too scared, or they're too, I'm so proud of our girl Jocelyn, who's going to be on the show again in a couple of weeks. Before, just so everyone out there knows, Beautiful Broken season 1 does end at the end of this month, so our next episode's coming up is Jeremy JJ, shout out to you. He's going to be talking about autism. He has autism. Super good show next week. That'll be next Tuesday. The following Tuesday will be Jocelyn. We will talk about red flags, but also green flags. And then the final episode of season 1 will be Doreen interviewing me, telling, more in depth on my journey of really what inside of Beautiful Broken's about. You guys are watching our show every week. You're keeping up with us, which is awesome. But behind the scenes, there's more to Beautiful Broken, and I cannot wait to tell you all about that.
I cannot wait to. I'm excited for like all the following weeks. I'm excited for your show. I'm excited for all of it. I really am.
And then don't be upset. We're just taking a month off, and then the second season starts the first week of October. So we will be back. But if you like our stuff, if you love what we have to say, please like, share, and subscribe. We are on Facebook at Beautiful Broken, and then we are on Instagram at beautifulbroken.tv. But what was one thing you got out of Dan tonight that kind of like...
there's like a thing I always tell myself is embrace the change. Some people can be really afraid of change and kind of not let the change happen, and I always tell myself to embrace the change. So as he was talking, I was kind of just reminding me of that, how I tell myself all the time to embrace change.
Oh, I like that. Embrace change. Yeah, change. Oh my gosh, just change today, everybody. I got a new car, and I've had that car. I just have to talk about it. I've had that car since I was 16 years old. It was my first car, and it has gone through it with me. Okay, so I get to the car dealership, and I didn't even know this was going to happen. I think that's what's even more shocking. Was my mom pulls up, she's like, okay, we found this car, we think it's perfect for you. And it was that gut feeling where you just know that like, this is my new car and I'm leaving this car behind. But just because of the emotional attachments I had, it was the only consistency I had in my life for the past, since I was 16. Now I'm 25, so what, 9 years?
Yeah,
it was the only consistency I had in my life, and I bawled my eyes out saying goodbye to that damn car. I never thought you could be that attached to a material
you had
object.
a lot of memories.
Literally, I sat in my car and was like, all right, girl, we gotta let go.
But there you go. You embrace the change, and you welcome your new car and all the new
beautiful,
memories,
the new life that's gonna come with my new car. Guys, thank you so much again for tuning in every week. We are Beautiful Broken, and we are here for you. Again, like, share, do it all, because we appreciate it. Hit us with the follow. We'll follow you back. We love you very much, and remember, even though you're broken, you are always going to be beautiful.